Hello, everybody. It is Trent, your man, Fatherhood Confessions, and welcome to the show. But first, before we go any further, we got to crack a cold one. It's Friday night. So glad you guys tune in and join us for this another edition of Dad Discussions, where we just get real and candid about fatherhood and everything else in our lives. So, cheers to all you guys out there watching, ladies too, fathers, dads, buds, lads, and ladies. Well, we got another special guest on the show tonight, and you're in for a treat. This man is a busy man, and well, he's got a lot of things he's juggling right now in life, and I'm just looking forward to having this guy on and having a conversation, learning about a little bit about his life, what he's currently doing as a dad, in making a difference in the lives of other people, and you're in for a treat. So. Again, if you're watching us live, I see a few on already. But if you're also tuning in and it's on the replay, welcome and thanks for clicking that watch button. And hope you enjoy every snippet of this conversation. If you haven't done so already, why don't you go ahead and click that like, subscribe, and ring that little bell icon so you're notified when I go live and when I drop a brand new video, which is every Monday morning. So, anyway, with that, you can also follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on TikTok. And, of course, on Instagram. Would love to have you join the FC crew. And one more thing before we jump right into our conversation. If you're wondering what Feature Friday is all about, wondering what Dad Discussions is all about, and Fatherhood Confessions, we're just helping parents. I'm just helping parents navigate parenting through honest conversation. And one way I do that is through connecting with other dads, collaborating, bring them in on this conversation about the reality of life and parenting to enrich myself and to enrich you in your journey as well. So without further ado, my guest tonight is Jeffrey King, aka the Rural Dad, and he's going to come on right now. We're going to give him a nice virtual welcome as he's in the background there, lighting the fire. He's got a little bit of a background ambiance going there. Jeffrey, welcome to the show, brother. Good to have you, man. How are you? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. You gotta love technology, right? Can you hear me, Jeffrey? Can you? somebody go and tap Jeffrey on the shoulder. You're live. Maybe he's turn up your volume. We got you live, Jeffrey. Got the volume there? Turn your volume up, buddy. Gotta love when technology doesn't work, right? We'll wait till he figures that out. But Jeffrey is he's doing some amazing things in his community. He actually has a farm. He grows all kinds of different crops, and it's really, really interesting what he's doing. So, Jeffrey.
Is this working? I can't hear a damn thing. Oh, there you are. I got you.
You got me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. There we go.
There. See, I can't see much. My phone on landscape.
Oh, we got you. All the viewers are probably going, these guys.
Is this guy real?
Yeah, is this guy for real? What is he's got? Tag or something? I don't know. But anyway, I just did a nice introduction for you. We talked about what you're doing in life right now in beautiful southwestern Ontario. Got a farm there, and you are cultivating the ground and using that produce to help so many people in need. And I watched some of the news clips. I've read some of the news clips on your webpage, I guess you'd call it, and pretty impactful. So Yeah, kudos to you, man, making a difference and totally influencing so many people around the world.
We're hoping to do it again this year. I'm just gonna flip this up. See, I don't know, Mike. There is that okay for you?
You could use it. That's
All right,
fine.
it works. I can see you now. It's just on the phone for some reason. The web browser isn't.
No, that works.
All
That
right.
works. Whatever's good for you. We can still see your face, so we're good. So, Jeffrey, welcome to Friday night dad discussions. So, before we go any further, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, family, kids, as much as you are willing and want to share. What's going on, man?
So yeah. Anyway, I'm just I've been basically a stay-at-home dad for the last 3 years. I think now. I left a really awesome job in natural gas pipeline construction. So like watch my boys so my wife could further her career. So I've just been basically trying to do what I can by growing a YouTube channel, by doing my vegetables, growing the garden, and then helping people with that. And now it's time to get back and make a change in my life so I can get back to work. We can get carrying on. My boys are now the oldest is 6 and the youngest is going to be 4 in May. So it's a busy time for us.
Oh yeah, man. It would a jungle or a zoo kind of sum up where you're at in life when it comes to kids?
A zoo is accurate, not just for the kids, but the fact we have 4 goats, like 15 ducks, probably about 10 chickens, 3
Yeah.
dogs, 4 cats, 2 rabbits. Yeah, a zoo rounds up. A zoo is
Oh,
good. Yeah.
it was so funny because before we came on the stream and we were texting each other, you were like, "Man, I got to go feed my goats because if I don't, they're just going to be noisy and not going to hear anything."
Well, they're right. They would be like right behind us. Actually, they're right beside us now. But yeah, if I don't give them their feed at night, they don't let me forget. Like they're on it.
Wow, that's incredible, man. So again, like tonight, we're just being real, and like I always tell people, some people ask me, "What's your credentials to talk about parenting?" I said, "Well, experience. I had 2 kids.
Yeah.
I've got a teenager and one soon to be. So real life parenting is the course, man.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that. Our youngest is going to a speech therapist tomorrow, and when my wife went for the initial consultation, she's like, I could tell that she didn't have kids because I was having to translate everything for my 4-year-old that she was saying so that he could understand it. And it's like,
Wow.
if you don't have kids, I mean, you can want to help kids, which is great. If you want to be an early childhood educator and all that, you can read books and but there's nothing like doing it to understand, even though not every kid's the same, but just
Yeah.
to kind of understand the frustration that the parent is going through, right? So
Absolutely.
you can just tell people with kids and people that don't have kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we've been there so many times too, where even in the educational systems, teachers, we've had in the past where teachers have said, things like, "You sure your kid doesn't have a, learning disability, or you sure he doesn't have ADHD?" And so just for kicks and giggles, we take them to the doctor, and I mean, the doctor, assesses them, and the funny thing is, the doctor's like, "There's nothing wrong with this kid.
No,
There's more wrong with the teacher. The teacher don't want to handle him."
that's right.
Right?
And like Einstein said it best, like, if you teach a fish how to climb a tree, he's going to live his whole life feeling like an idiot, right? Because
Wow.
fish don't climb trees.
That's a really good one.
And our kid, he's not in the public school system. We've put him into like a private school. I don't like spending that much money on it, but the school that I went to, which would be the one that he would go to, the public school, that was the thing. I was different. They said, "Oh, he's got a learning disability, so we're going to go test him." So they tested me. Well, it turned out the test came back above average. Well, now
Wow.
what do we do? Nothing, right? This
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we don't have the resources. We'll just put him back in and let him suffer. So I wasn't a fan of putting him in a school like that, but when you think about it, it's going to be better for him.
Yeah.
And he's excelling. He really is. There's just, a few things he's not so good at, but
That's great. Yeah.
they can focus on that. They can find his
Exactly.
strengths and apply
Yeah.
them to his weaknesses, right? So
Yeah. It's yeah, and it all depends on. I mean, there's so many factors with kids when it comes to their temperament, how they function, like key words and how they listen, and key words and how they verbally communicate.
Mhm.
Like there's like if you look at a kid's thesaurus, they only have so many, and they can mean so many different things.
Yep.
And if you don't, that's why I think it's so apparent, so important for teachers to get a little close to the parents more than they ever have, because we speak their language. We know what they want,
Yeah.
right? Anyways, thanks for coming on tonight. So hopefully not too long, but I want to jump right into it because I really want to know. Like my son asked me tonight, like, why are you interviewing these dads? That's what he said. He said, "Why are you interviewing these dads? Sounds boring." I said, "Yeah, until you become one."
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
it all changes.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you know what, Dad, your father doesn't know it all, and I like to collect as much information from other fathers as well to help me along in this journey. Like, man, one thing about fathering and parenting, you never arrive. It's from from the moment you have kids until you lay the rest. It's this continual loop of learning.
Hmm.
So, first question for you,
Yes.
and for those in the chat, if you have a question, drop it in the chat box below. I'm sure Jeffrey would like to answer as best he can. But first
Yeah,
one's
I
this.
can't see the questions. I see the chat box, but if you just, I'll shut it out if you see it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I'll verbalize it for sure. So, what's one of the most important childhood memories you have, or most memorable memories you've had of your dad, with your dad?
So I grew up on a dairy farm, and I think that is unique compared to a lot of situations because it's like you're born into a job basically.
Yeah,
It's like so you're working alongside your dad as soon as you're able, and that's how it was because my dad was at the barn all the time. It was dairy farm, right? So in the morning milking cows, all day caring for the cows, at nighttime milking cows, come home. So there wasn't a whole lot of, like, I could say, unique memories growing up. It was just, we grew up on a farm is basically, I guess, how you categorize it. So the most, I guess, as a child, the one thing that we could look forward to every summer was my dad would actually take a couple days off and we'd all go up to, if anybody's familiar with Santa's Village in Bracebridge, Ontario.
oh yeah,
That
absolutely.
that was our summer. We'd borrow my grandparents. My grandfather was a big fiddle player, so we'd go to these fiddle jamborees, and he had this
Nice.
tent trailer, and we'd borrow that, and we'd just take the old Monte Carlo, 79 Monte Carlo, and it would be going up to
Nice.
400 to Santa's Village, right? And that was what we did every summer. That was kind of like our family time. And other than that, it was just, business as usual. So I
Right.
think those are the things that we can remember, is just going up there and doing all the activities around Santa's Village.
So, growing up on a farm, you were always in work mode.
It was like, yeah. I mean, as soon as you're able, you're in that barn every night. Even my mother, when we were kids, they'd take the old black and white television, and we'd be watching the Beachcombers. The old CBC.
Yeah,
Like,
man, classic. Love it.
and
Littlest
we'd
hobo.
sit there and watch. Well, they fed the calves and did the chores, and then once we were old enough, my mom would stay home, and now we'd be doing the chores, feeding the calves and stuff. So
Amazing.
yeah.
It's incredible how our upbringing really shapes us, eh? Because I grew up. My grandfather had a farm too, a vegetable farm. He had some horses, some cows, some chickens. I was the guy in charge of keeping all those animals fed. As And it's so funny because when I was in high school, my son's age, I was responsible to get up early in the morning before school, and all my classmates were, tired. Oh, I don't want to go to school. Oh, why is school so early? I'm thinking I was up at 6 o'clock and fed animals, and then came home after a 40-minute ATV ride home,
Mm-hmm.
and then went to school. So what are you guys whining about? But yeah, we like, again, you and I have something similar in that we, I guess we learn what it means and what it looks like, number one, and what it means to have a strong work ethic and
Yeah.
how to apply that in so many different areas of life,
That's true. And I think I said that once later. I says, you know what, it might have been a little tough growing up like that, but the fact that you can just look at something and think, it's a job that's got to get done, and you can kind of thank your parents for instilling that in you. It's like the days you didn't want to go, even when you try using homework as an excuse to get out of your chores, that's like, no, I want to stay home and do my homework. They're like, what's wrong with you? Like,
That's right.
But
yeah.
but yeah, and then you look at it later and it's like, well, you know what? There's so many people that were growing up with like, okay, well, fine, then you don't have to. But no, I had to, whether I liked it or not. And I think
That's right.
I think that shapes you and it gives you, I don't know what it gives you, but it gives you something when you grow up to say, like, you know what, I got to go to work. I got to do this. And that's why it's kind of been weird, even though being a stay-at-home dad is probably the most stressful job I've ever had. You want to get back out in the workforce, with your work buddies and in construction too.
Sure. Yeah.
But I know. I think it's just that no matter what, you're going to work to look after your family.
Oh, absolutely. So, second question, just gonna keep firing away here.
Yep.
What's one thing that your mom and dad always used to tell you growing up that turned out to be true, even though as a kid you were like, that's not true, or I don't believe that? Something they said or did and when you were growing up, and you now go, oh, totally, that's totally true.
Well, I was always told if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all. And I think
wow,
that probably didn't have as much of an impact until social media came along. Now, if you say one thing wrong anywhere on the internet, you're getting it fired back at you. So it's just like, just say nothing at all. And obviously they didn't know that at the time, but I think it was just the context of the saying, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think it proves that just shut up. Like sometimes you think all you want, but don't say it because it's probably going to get proven regardless.
That's a well-worn, but yet well-proven axiom though.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it all growing up too. Like you got nothing good to say, don't say it. But I would agree with you. I would come to a place now where I'm like, because I think a lot of people, here's what talking does. I find that a lot of people use talking to try to win someone over to their point of view.
Yes.
When at the end of the day, that's not communication. That's debate and trying to change your mind to think like somebody else. Right? Yeah. And I think that's where that quote comes in so well. Hey, if you don't have anything good to say, just because somebody thinks this way, has this opinion, I mean, you trying to, in some way change that, but people don't want to just change it. They want to tear you down in the process.
Yeah, and there's like two things that I try to avoid it on my social media when possible. Although my YouTube has been a little political lately with the convoy and everything that happened. But there's two things that I find that there's no point in arguing on the internet, and that's politics and that's religion. Because you're going to be wrong no matter what, because everybody is so embedded in their views that they think that you need to believe that or you're wrong. So I just cut it right out and don't bother. Right. So, because you're going to offend people anyways, and they're going to offend you. So,
and here's another thing too, like the thing about it is if you come across somebody's page and you don't like what they're saying, don't like what they're doing, well, don't follow them.
No,
it's not that simple. Or get out, or leave the room.
That's what I don't think people understand is the internet and social media people. They're putting out their content for people that think the same.
That's right.
Not people
exactly.
That think differently. I mean, if you could come in and politely debate someone, I would respect someone for that. But they got to agree at the end of the day that that's not what my content is about. So, but I find you just get people that just want to tell you you're wrong and you're an idiot and shut up and get off TikTok or something like that. It's like, well, just scroll along. Like you don't have to say anything, so
yeah, exactly. No, that's some good points. Number 3, what are we're getting vulnerable here and candid, so there's not one question that I ask somebody that I wouldn't ask myself and be truthful about it.
Yep.
And I think as you grow older and you see your kids being candid, that's what kids are candid, man. Kids don't pretend. Like they right. So I say we transition into adulthood and somehow lose that humility and that lowliness of being honest And so this question is one that, of course, requires that. What are some of your biggest insecurities as a father? What bugs you the most about you?
You know, I think if I was to be truthful, my biggest fear about being a father is not being a father. Now I'm a volunteer firefighter as well, and I've seen some things that really make you think. I've pulled. Well, I didn't pull. Well, I ended up a father four. Didn't make it home to his family one night after a car accident, and that really
Wow.
affects you. That makes you think. Well, what is my kid's life going to be like if I didn't make it home? And it really makes you think a lot more about your importance in their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's for
and it
sure.
bugs me. It really does. But I mean, honestly, that's part of the job. I've seen the dark side, and
Mhm.
I don't want that to happen to me. So, probably, yeah. Like, other than that, any other problem I can fix. That one I can't. So,
Yeah, that's really insightful.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that's really insightful because a part of course, being a dad is you're always thinking the long haul, aren't you? You're always thinking about
yep,
always being present, never going anywhere. My father is almost 70, and even he'll call once or twice a week and say, how's my boy?
yep,
And my mother's in the background going, just leave him alone. He's busy. And
yeah,
my
yeah,
father,
yeah,
my father's like, hey, that's my son you're talking to there,
yeah,
that's my son. I want to know how he's doing. And
yeah.
even now, of course, his roles changed, but as a father, he still feels like he's important to me and that he needs me and I need him, right? Which is interesting because it never leaves,
No,
you know?
no, and I mean, I don't. Mine just lives a road away, and I don't see them very often at all. But we're not really a close family that way. But you're right, though. Like, I mean, if they want to call, when I was driving truck, my mom used to just call because I mean, I was who knows where in the United States. I was like 22 years old on my own, just driving all over the place, and they worry about you. So especially
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that, because
yeah.
but yeah, you always
Exactly.
pick up the phone, and back then we have call display? I don't even remember, but I always knew my parents' phone number anyways, right? So I mean, all we could do was like call and text. I think that was it. So
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
yeah.
So, what bugs you the most about you? Do you have any flaws that you're like, man, this must drive my kids absolutely insane. This this is like a thorn in their flesh.
Oh man, my wife tells me, "He's like, you're like a drill sergeant." It's like, times are different. When I grew up, it was like when you were bad, you got spanked and you learned. But now that's not really the way that parenting's supposed to be done. So it frustrates me that they just talk back. It's just like you tell them, no, stop doing that. You're going to get hurt. And they're like, no, no, whatever. And then they get hurt. And you're like, like, did you learn? But no, they didn't because they do it again.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
and I think just not knowing how to, I mean, you know how to deal with it, but it's not effective. And there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do
You know
about it.
what you know what I love about your demeanor right now? And I bet you it shows everybody that's watching
Yeah.
how, and me too, in our reactions, that man, this thing is not like we didn't get a manual to
No.
start this journey and be like, hey, this is what you got to prepare for, you
Yep.
know? And it just shows that you don't have it all together, which is great because during COVID, that was my biggest point of frustration, is always wondering, what are other dads doing? Like, am
Yeah.
I screwing up? Am I when I say to my kid, get out of my face for now, like I need some space? Like, what are other dads doing with their kids? How are they communicating? Because I feel like a rotten vegetable, just to put it in context here. And
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, and as much as growing up, you watch like Mary Poppins, and the little boy is just so obedient and proper, and just and now you're like,
Just, that's not true.
what happened to that?
Yeah, that's right.
Why can't I have that? It's like, no, here, you need to eat your dinner because it's healthy for you. It's like, I'm not hungry, but then they go to bed, I'm hungry. Well, why? Yeah, you're just like, whatever. So
You
I don't
know,
know.
my two kids, we have a little bit of a rule in our house that if you're incessantly fighting, you have to choose to do a chore together.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to work together now.
Yeah.
So they don't like that. But
No.
if they don't work together and they're continuing to fight, we just add another one. So then they go, okay, 2 is enough. And then you got one saying, okay, right away, leadership. It's using my son. He's the oldest. Okay, listen, you wash, I dry, for instance. So interesting thing. Yesterday that happened. And tonight they tried to pull one over my eyes. And they said, I said, okay, the dishwasher is ready to be emptied. Who's doing it? And they both said, well, we both did it yesterday. We don't do the same chore twice. And I was like, you guys are pretty keen. Like, you guys are smart. I'll give you that. You try to pull that one over my eyes. Right. And I said, okay. I said, if I do it, that's a privilege gone. I'm just letting you know. What, like, both of you are losing something that you love, right?
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future. Well, what happened? One popped up and started doing it, right? And the other one goes, well, I guess I should help too. It was just so funny to see because, and to me, that it bugs me. It bugs me that I can sometimes be tough, but I think there's such thing as proper toughness with kids, knowing, like, for instance, you are going to lose in life. You are.
Yeah.
You're going to screw up big time in life, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't.
Oh.
Right? Like, it's the story of everyone's life. It's a part of the story of everyone's life,
Here's like
So question.
Yeah.
What is what would be your approach? I'm interested, and this is no right or wrong answer, but I like to ask dads this. What is your approach to raising kids as a father? Like I know that's a wide brush statement, but if you could just pick one area. Like, how do you approach raising good ones, even though they have bad attitudes sometimes?
I just try to be firm. Like, if I try to say something, I want it to stick, right? Like, and I want to stand behind what I'm saying. And it's tough because they're cute little buggers, right? But it's no, if you do this, I'm going to have to, take money out of your piggy bank. And you have to do that, because if you don't, then they think you're not serious, and they're going to just get away with it anyway. So I like to take just a kind of a firm, try and keep things structured as much as possible. I know they're kids, but I think that, and my wife's big on structure too. She is the organized person. I am a scatterbrain. I can't remember like
yeah.
But just trying to at least always be, and maybe sometimes they always say, oh, I don't like you, because they're mad at you because you're telling them no. And I guess you just got to accept that. But if you just don't tell them no and say, okay, well, fine then, just, watch 5 more hours of television, whatever. I don't think it's going to work out in the end. So sometimes I think you got to be the enemy to be the hero, I guess. I don't know.
Wow. That's an interesting approach, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up like that. I mean, I think there's a lot of parents who parent with regret, which is bad. And I think there's a lot who, they think, oh man, I make so many mistakes. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've struggled with this so often, until somebody was very wise and been a dad for 50 years said, listen, kids are resilient. They'll bounce back. Mm-hmm. Like they know how they'll grow, and they'll be able to put everything they learned, everything they experienced as kids with you. They'll put that in context. Like, not everything my dad said and done was good for me, but I could differentiate between what's good and what's bad now from that experience. So, kids are resilient.
Yeah. And like I think my mother said once, the one thing she really regretted growing up was losing her temper. But then I think back about how much of an asshole I was. Like, I would have lost my shit too. Like, you know, and it's like, you don't understand it at the time until you are a parent. You're like,
like that's what she. Oh, that's what
I
she.
drove her completely insane, and that's why she beat me. It's like, you know, it's like I was being a little shit, and I deserved it. But you know, things at the time, right? Because you're a kid, you can't do anything wrong. You want.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. No, that's a good
so just
point.
keep that, and that lingers too. It's like, okay, try not to lose my temper too much, you know, to the point, because they don't understand, and it is frustrating being a parent. Like, there's, like I said, and I used to work with natural gas, and this is the most stressful job I've ever had. So just like,
that's so funny. Okay, just move. That's good. I like that. So I give you a little, like, almost like a phrase scenario for you to fill in the blank here. Give us your best shot, Jeffrey. Answering this to your child, because I said so, to a child who wants to know the reason behind a decision you have made is likely to cause what? Fill in the blank. So your child, you're like, because I said so. But a child wants to understand the reason behind the decision you made, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it likely to cause? It's likely to cause what? In your opinion?
Frustration. Because, like, damn it, now I have to explain myself. I didn't. It's like, it was like I didn't want a question asked of my statement, is what it is. It's like, you know, but I mean, and I get it.
Yeah.
They want to know, they want your reasoning, and sometimes there really isn't, I don't think, reasoning behind it. It's just because I said so. It's like, why do I have to do this? Well, because I said so. It's more like, because I need you to do it for me, right? And I don't know if they're going to understand that, but I think that's what it comes down to is like, just because I said so is because, look, you need to do this because your toys are all over the floor, you know, like, so clean them up.
That's right.
And I don't know if I don't expect them to see the bigger picture like we do, but yeah, for sure. Like, you're going to get, it's just nothing. It's nothing good is going to come of it. I don't think. It's like,
it's too funny, man.
It's like, you don't want to know why I'm saying so. I don't think, you know, like,
yeah, exactly. And I mean, a child's reasoning, I mean, you can end up giving them 5 different answers, and they'll still, if it's not what they're looking for, they'll still go, yeah, but what's the real reason though?
Yeah.
Right. My daughter is we call her, she's our strong-willed child. And she has a very tricky way of stating questions and to get what she wants. And my wife made the comment tonight, like, she's so strategic. Like, she'll say stuff like, if I do this, will I get ice cream? like she's very strategic.
Yeah.
And she's going to keep asking until she gets the right, because she's got one thing on her mind. She wants what she wants. Mm-hmm. So she thinks that if I can keep rephrasing this question in a different way, somehow, or process of elimination, no, I'm going to ask again. Oh, that's not the answer. That she's going to get what she wants. But she's like, kids aren't stupid.
No.
We may feel stupid.
Yeah. But they have way more resources now than we ever had. Like,
yeah,
it's not even fair. To be honest. Like,
that's too funny.
Yeah.
It's not even fair. It's good.
Like, how do you know this? Oh, like...
Oh man, I love it. This is great. So what if children don't like a decision you make, or we'll say your child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 90% of them. Yeah.
Or a boundary you set, or an instruction you give. So 1 or 3 of those scenarios. How do you respond, even if you're like, hey, if that stove element is hot?
Well, like, I give a lot of instructions. It's like, but you can explain it as best as possible. And I think it's like, you know what, guys, pick up your Lego, because A, you're either going to step on it, or B, the dog's going to eat it. And it almost takes one of those things to happen.
Wow. Yeah.
Hopefully they step on it, because they'll learn quicker. If the dog eats it, it doesn't affect him. But if they step on a piece of Lego, they're going to feel my pain, right? But I think it struggles because I think they don't want to do it. and they don't understand why you're explaining that they have to do it. And
Yeah.
it's tough. So I don't know. I think that's probably the hardest part. Yeah, when you're giving instructions, just like try to explain why they have to do it, and they're probably not going to understand anyways, and then you're going to get frustrated again, whatever. But
I think you're giving a pretty accurate picture of parenting right now. Like,
yeah, well,
it's just a never ending cycle of instruction, setting boundaries, making decisions. And you know what? Parents got to face it. They're never going to like them all the time. It's just the way it is, man.
And I think you got to keep setting those boundaries. And even if they can't stick to them, I think they're going to know that that's what is expected of them. So maybe someday when they are able to understand,
exactly,
maybe it'll stick.
Yeah.
Until then, good luck.
Jeffrey, what's one boundary that you have in place for your kids?
Just and you hope they do it when they're not around, but I really want them to be respectful of other people. That's really important.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Like whether it's at the playground, it says, how many times? I hope you do not say that to your teacher. I hope you do not, because they can do it here. And like my wife says, this is their outlet. They got to take it out at home. But I'm like, you better not do that at school. You better not do that at your grandmother's house, like that, because to me, being respectful of other people is very important. Like, I don't want saying, that King kid's, he's just a little brat, right? Like,
yeah.
And from what and the feedback I get is they are doing what I hope they're doing. So, they're great kids. Like, well, then keep them, because they are not like that at home. So they're all yours. But I think that, other than that, that's probably one boundary I really hope that they carry on, is just, no matter what you do, just respect other people.
My son, he's not the most studious. Like, he doesn't like schoolwork. He hates it.
I can relate to that.
And yeah, me too. I grew up, like, in high school, I studied sports plays more than I did my own homework, But, my biggest concern, I always tell them, I said, you don't have to be in the top of your class. You don't have to be an A student or a B student. Like, my concern is that, how are you treating the people around you? And he says, Dad, listen, honestly, I always include people. And, as a parent, you're like crossing your fingers going, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Until he came home one day and he was selected. He got an award for inclusivity, which made, honestly, I told him to put it up somewhere in the house so he can see it, because that needs to be put on display. That reminds him that, wow, I'm receptive, I'm warm to other people, and I include them in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know what? That's stuff you can't teach in school.
No, it's really
you teach that stuff at home, right? Like you were saying, hey, you know what? Don't disrespect. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I applauded that. I really did. So I got one more question for you. Then we're going to jump into a little fun game or something, man.
All right.
Which I always do on when I'm live. I usually end with some bit of a bit of fun, give your brain a break. So describe, in your own words specifically, describe what independence. Because I know you have a farm. I've seen you on lives on TikTok. I've seen you on YouTube. We were out in the yard like you are now. Nothing different. And I've seen your kids running around, playing trucks and helping, doing different things, like this question was actually inspired by those little snippets of video. I've seen them out there doing stuff. And I was like, describe what independence looks like for a child. Like,
I think, and touching on what you said there, those boys, they'll be out in my garden and they'll start pulling weeds, and they'll be like, Dad, can we go pull weeds? It's like, go. And they know what to do. They might not always be weeds they're pulling out, which is why our sunflower crop was a little lower. But, and I think just seeing them, and even now, like today, they're out with their Tonka toys. I only had to yell at them a few times to get out of the mud, but they can play independently. They can come up with their own creations of what they want to do, and they'll go do it. And I mean, and
it's so good.
It is, and like I know you've probably seen my 6-year-old drive around like a boss. The kid can just get
Yes,
on
I
a
have.
vehicle,
Yeah,
and
I have. Yeah.
like I don't even have to worry about him. It's like, okay, and well, now we've got him side by side, which is even safer. But I don't have to worry. You know, he drives around. He knows he's good, and
Yeah.
but yeah, they've got into. I think they can, as much as they bug me every 5 minutes by calling my name for me to do something. It's like that 10 minutes when they're actually doing it on their own. You can say, that's nice. Good for them to think about doing that. Or
Yeah.
I wouldn't even thought to tell them to go do that. They just come up with things. So
Hey, and when he gets at the age where it's time to do his driver's test,
Oh.
he's gonna be like, man, I've driven everything besides this big thing. That's all.
since he was 2 years old, both of them, it's incredible. But I have no worries about him at all. I just wish I could have something that nice to drive around the front of, but whatever. You know, kids come
That's
first.
right. That's right. Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful thing to watch kids progress into independence, because like my son and our daughter, like we've had sessions where, you know, well, they had to help with cooking a meal
Mhm.
once twice a week. That's important. Everyone helps. But now, you know, my son usually on Saturdays he'll get up and make pancakes and eggs for us
Oh, nice.
at 14.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And my wife's like, I really hope he continues to do this.
Yeah.
Yes, like me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll bring it in the bed next time. You know, instead of we'll have to get up. We'll have to have breakfast in bed. But yeah, you know, again, children don't come with manuals, man, and
No.
you figure it out as you go along. I think that's a beautiful. You know, it's interesting what you said earlier. I'm going to end with this, and we'll jump into a fun stretch here. But like, some majority of the time is you're winging it, depending on what comes at you. You're winging it, like.
Yep.
And you said that you work for, was it natural gas?
Yeah, like pipeline. Yeah, putting like
Pipeline. And you said
like,
you haven't.
distribution. Yeah, like
You
two
haven't
houses,
had.
you know. Yeah.
You've said that this job has been much harder than that.
Oh, I'd rather work with live natural gas. All yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. What does that tell you? And for anybody listening out there, I mean, that's not to deter you from having kids. Having kids is a beautiful beginning of a legacy, and furthering your name and contributing members to society. I mean, it's all that stuff and more. But man, like, it is not a walk in the park. So
No. And
it's
there's no procedures or control.
Yep.
At least with like natural gas, you got your procedures. You got to do this. You got to do this. If you're doing this, you got to do that. When it comes to kids, it's like shit. I don't know.
it's the most. I mean, I've had the most complex jobs. Those jobs don't compare to what goes on at home and the work that's put in. Like you never have holidays. You never take a sick day from parenting. It's never a time off.
Yep.
100% in all the time. Is that a good way to sum it up, Jeffrey? What do you think?
I think so. Yeah. You're like every day's an adventure.
Yeah. And it's a better one if you have a side by side, right?
Yeah. Now, if I could just get myself one, but you know what, my old Yamaha Timberwolf there, it's not a bad machine, so I'll stick with it.
Yeah, let's stick with it. It's working so far, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to turn on some music here.
All right.
And we're going to get. I hope that's not too loud.
I should have put earphones in or something. I don't know what's with my phone, but I can hear you, so it's not too loud.
Can you hear it now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. The first one. I'm going to throw it at you. Would you rather? Okay, folks, buckle down, buckle in. Let's go for a ride here. All right. Would you rather have a hook for a hand, or a peg for a leg? We're getting all Peter Pan here now.
I'm gonna go peg for a leg.
Why?
Because how can you hold this with a hook?
That's true. The man has a point. And you even a practical picture to go along with.
I can walk with a leg. I can walk with a peg, but I can't hold a beer with a hook. I know that.
All right, man. Hey, you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather go 1 month with only a tank top on, or go 1 month with only a thong on?
Tank tops are comfortable. I swear, I can. Yeah, I'm definitely. And I don't even own a tank top, but I'm going with tank top.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you might. I think you're trying to avoid yourself some embarrassment here, right?
Yeah, no, and discomfort too. I think in general. right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Discomfort's the biggest one. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Would you rather have a huge? Would you rather have a huge booger hanging out of your nose for the rest of your life, or a pimple on your forehead for the rest of your life?
God. Probably a pimple. Because no one's going to say a damn thing. But if there's a booger hanging from your nose, someone's going to tell you about it. So, yeah, I think I'll go with the pimple. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm right with you, man. All right,
Yep.
next one. Oh, this is funny. Would you rather be smacked in the face with a fish or farted on by a stranger?
Now you got me.
Would you rather be smacked in the face with a fish or farted on by a stranger?
I'll have to take the fish.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just seems like it's more socially acceptable.
That's good. I like it. Yeah, more social. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Would you rather grow a ponytail down to your ankles or have a huge Adam's apple that sticks out? It's unavoidable to see.
I'm going with the ponytail. And this is why.
Oh, okay. All right. I can see.
Just let me live it once, right?
So Jeffrey, that you're starting to thin out, are you?
Yeah, it's been yeah.
Is that since you had kids?
It's honestly started not too much before that. Yeah, like I don't know when, but it just happened.
That's
all of a
funny.
sudden, so.
That's too good.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather now? We're two married guys here, so this is just an example. Would you rather date a girl who won't stop talking or date a girl who won't stop texting?
Oh, I can ignore a text.
Can you?
Oh, sorry, I was busy. I will go with the texting.
Yeah?
I think so because let's face it, they're both annoying, but at least the texting you can like just say, "Oh, my battery died," right? You can't just say, "Oh, shut up for a second," you know. So.
Yeah, that's true. Did
I
I give you these questions before? Because it sounds like they're well thought through.
No. I'm thinking this is what I want.
This is
Yeah.
logic.
And I
All
mean,
right.
even then, like even when, and you know what it's like being married. Your wife could talk to you until she's blue in the face, and you might not hear a damn thing. And it's just a talent that we have. We can just, oh, sorry, what?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inbred talent. It
Yep.
just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Would you rather be in excuse me, would you rather be in an elevator full of noisy high school students or in an elevator full of judgmental middle-aged men?
These days, oh gosh, no.
Noisy high school students or judgmental
I'm gonna go with the noisy high school students because they're gonna have something interesting to say. The judgmental men probably not gonna be anything of interest. So, the
Man.
students, yeah, they might be talking about the party they had on the weekend, and you can live your life vicariously through that conversation and be like, "Yeah, I remember that."
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Would you rather have to wear a tuxedo shirt every day for a month or wear a tutu every day for a month?
I can do the tuxedo shirt. You know, I can do that tuxedo shirt. Yeah. I mean, Ashley McIsaac could do it. I can do it.
Exactly.
Downtown, when I was in college, downtown Lindsay, Ontario, we were in I guess what do you call them now? A shop that sells like marijuana bongs.
Yeah.
Sure enough, Ashley McIsaac was there. He was playing at the fair in Lindsay, Ontario.
No
and
way.
He's wearing like tuxedo pants and like a shirt and then his glasses and
Man, I love Ashton McIsaac. He's wicked.
got an ATV going by here. I lost you. There
Would you rather be someone's pet goldfish or wild lizard?
Wild lizard. I would be a wild lizard.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because a goldfish, you're going to be in a bowl full of water. A wild lizard, they're going to put cool things in there for you to do.
There
Goldfish
you go.
just look at the reflection in the glass all day. So.
Man.
It's like I'm
Man,
a
it's-
goldfish. Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. You thought this through, even though you didn't know I was going to ask you these questions. All right, here's two more. Would you rather have your tongue pierced or have your shoulder tattooed?
I've had my tongue pierced. I'll probably go with that. Yeah. Because I took it out.
Experience.
The tattoo will still be there, right? So,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
That's true. It's permanency.
Yeah, nose
I
and the
gotcha.
tongue. One day, you know what? Just do it. And I know it was a phase, right? But
Yeah. Okay, last one. Would you rather? Oh boy. Would you rather poop in the only toilet at a party, knowing that you'll clog it, or poop in the bushes in the backyard?
I'm actually comfortable with both.
Yes.
I guess it
Right
depends
on.
on the situation. The bushes might be nice. I don't know.
I don't know, man. You go to a party. I mean, we're not really given a timeline here. If you were a teenager, you went to a party and did that. You're the talk headline of the school.
You would be, or like if
Right.
if it was me, you'd try and just like ghost out of there and be like, "Oh man, who'd do that?" Like, in knowing it was you, you'd be like, "I'm bad," right? But I don't know. Yeah.
All right, let's do. You know what? This one I got to throw at you.
Yep.
Because it's somewhat farm themed. Would you rather be a chicken for a day or a cow for a day?
Be a cow for a day. I don't
Why?
know why. I've grown up with cows and I've had chickens, but cows know how to live, man. Chickens
Do
are
they?
always walking around like they're confused, but cows are like, I'm gonna lay here and chew my cud.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Oh,
Chickens walking
Cows are
around like
great animals.
confused.
They really are.
And you know what? Jeffrey? With that, that's a good way to end. Sometimes parenting is like walking around like a chicken.
Ah.
You don't have a sweet clue what you're doing, even
Hope
though
you
you're
do it,
alive
yeah.
and alert.
Hope you might cross a bug that you can eat, right? That's about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, man. Listen, we got 1 hour here. We're almost up on. I didn't want to take any more of your time. I know you're a busy guy, but listen.
Yeah, I got to get this fire stoked again, I think.
Yeah.
Here, so.
But I'm looking forward to tuning into some more YouTube videos, which I've watched quite a bit, and yeah, maybe some more live TikToks in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, I've got some video editing the GoPro right now. Just maple syrup stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
working on it
you're-
now, but hopefully I'll get some of that edited and get going. And I'm probably doing some live streams here too. Probably not tonight, but I'll be doing some soon. So
listen, I want to thank you for the inspiration and the influence that you're having even on me. You got my mind cranking out ideas too as to how I can make an impact, and that's cool because you know what, you're doing it without effort, like without intentionally trying to. You're loving what you do, and
Yeah.
people are being impacted by it, and that's awesome.
that's
You
what I
know?
keep saying about the gardening. I love gardening, and if I can do it to help somebody, then why not, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Thanks for your time.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you joining me for a good conversation.
yeah,
And I hope that everybody out there learned a lot. And who knows, maybe we'll do it again in the near future.
Yeah.
All right, Jeffrey. Have a
Okay.
good night, man. We'll talk
You have
to you
yourself a
soon.
good weekend.
All right, buddy. You too.
Okay, see
Take
ya.
care. See
Yep.
ya. Well, that was Jeffrey King, aka the World Dad. Great conversation. And before we go tonight, again, just want to remind you to like and subscribe. Click that bell. I would love to have you as the next member of the FC clan. And like I always say, stay focused, stay safe, and I'll catch you on the flippity.